Hi everyone, this is Ricky and this is Ricky Tries. So today I'm cooking a fugaça. Fugaça is a biscuit or a cookie from Portugal. It's made in a small little town called Alcochete. Portugal is one of those places where if you travel from one small town to the next, they have their own specialities and their own dishes specific to that region of the country. So Alcochete has a couple, one of them being a fugaça. A fugaça is numerous things in Portugal, but in Alcochete itself, this is what it is. It's a nice dense cookie or biscuit that's quite soft and tender in the inside and almost gooey, with a strong flavor of cinnamon and hints of lemon. So fugaças have a very special meaning to my family because we are from around that area. My grandparents and my aunts lived in a place called Samoco, which is just a small little town just next to Alcochete. A fugaça is something that we were greeted with every time we went to my grandmother's house. So our family really has a deep connection to these biscuits. Not only did my grandmother greet us with these every time we went there on holiday, I also was inspired by a local lady that lived in Alcochete. Her story inspired me to create my own business. I know that sounds a lot for a simple cookie as a fugaça, but this lady did inspire me. This was a little old lady that lived in a very cute little cottage in the middle of Alcochete. And in her little house, she baked fugaças. That's all she did and that's all she sold. And everyone around the community knew who she was. What I find so inspiring about this story is that she did not have big signage outside of her house. There were no business cards, there was nothing commercial about it, there was no marketing. She was just a simple lady living in her house, baking these cookies and selling them to the community. Seeing this lady on how she lived, how she made a living, and also the way she lived within the community inspired me. I want to be that little old lady. So fugaça for me is not just a cookie, but it's inspiration, it's family heritage, and it's delicious. So there you go. This is what they look like. They're nice chunky cookies, very thick and very dense. This recipe is fairly easy and quite straightforward. It has simple ingredients and it's just a matter of combining the ingredients together. Start off by grating a lemon and getting the rind of one lemon. Firstly, we want to combine all the dry ingredients together and mix it thoroughly. Here we have 500 grams of all-purpose flour. Mix in 250 grams of brown sugar, 10 grams of cinnamon. I would say this is about a tablespoon of cinnamon, and the rind of one lemon. Mix until everything is combined and you can't see the brown sugar or the cinnamon. Now you want to pour in the melted butter. This is 120 grams of melted butter. Mix until it becomes a bit of a crumble. I'm transferring this into a large bowl because I'm struggling with this small bowl. This is now becoming a bit of a crumble. So what you can do now is incorporate the milk. Do this slowly. You're going to mix this until it becomes a dough-like consistency. So I'm going to start kneading this. It's very crumbly, but I feel like it's wet enough. I place about 150 milliliters of milk. You want to get this into the same texture as cookie dough. I think this is enough. I don't need to knead this anymore. I rolled my dough into a log shape. I'm going to roll this in some baking paper. To create that nice chewy effect of the cookie, you need to place your cookie dough in the fridge. Place the dough in the fridge for about 2 hours or overnight. The reason you want the dough to be in the fridge for so long is you want the butter to solidify once again. Will allow the cookie to be more chewy and soft in the center, which is what you want in the fugaça.
The next day.
Preheat your oven to 160 degrees Celsius. So cookie dough is nice and cold. So what we want to do now is divide this into equal pieces. You want these to be fairly big and thick cookies. 1.5 to 2 centimeters thickness is great. So what you want to do now is just roll this, just to get it into that shape. Now we want to divide this into equal bits. These cookies can be any size you want. Traditionally they're quite big, usually the size of the palm of your hand. Because there's no baking powder and it's not self-raising flour, these cookies do not rise. They will pretty much be the same size that you mold them into. Once you get a slice, mold it into a flattened ball. What you want to do now is separate the egg yolk from the egg white, because all we're going to need is the egg yolk. And just use your fingers to separate the two. So with the egg yolk, we want to mix a little bit of milk into that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to brush the egg yolk on top of the fugassa. This will create a nice glazed look at the end. Place these in the oven at 160 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes. Depending on the thickness, it might take up to 30 minutes depending on how thick your cookies are. The fugassas are ready, fresh out of the oven, and they look absolutely incredible. As you can see, they've started to become golden brown and started to crack. Transfer these to a wire rack to further the cooling process. And I'm pretty happy with how they came out. They just the color they should be, they're nice and aromatic, and they're still very warm. So let's break it up. Still steamy, still warm. That's a winner. That's the way I like it, when it's soft in the middle and gooey. The cookie still has a little bit of softness as they came out of the oven, but don't distress, it will still continue to cook a little further. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. It's quite a simple one, and I hope you like it. Bye. Obrigado. Ciao.